it's Miss Allison. I'm here again. So we're here with somebody from Ionox that makes these really beautiful wooden pieces of art, signage from the theme parks, maps from the theme parks. We have a couple right over here. So these are really beautiful. My eyes were drawn to them as soon as I passed by this booth, and I knew right away that I needed to learn a little bit more about what you do. So the first thing I want to know is, what got you started? Why did you want to focus on making these kind of theme park maps?
Well, I started the company back in 2018. It was just a hobby back then. And then in 2020, when everything changed all over the world, I was a theme park employee for about 20 years at Universal Studios up until that point. And so this was just a hobby, as I had said, but I had opened my online store, and then that became the supplemental income I needed to make it through the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I used the stimulus the government gave us, a good chunk of my savings, to invest in my company, get my laser cutter, and get everything up and off the ground, and so far it's been a huge success. So when it came to the schematics here, Disney had announced the 50th anniversary for the Magic Kingdom.
Right.
And at that point I had done a aerial map of Universal Studios from 1990 that was my home park.
Oh, very nice.
And I'm like, oh, how am I going to celebrate Disney's 50th? And let me see if I can find any imagery from the Magic Kingdom in 1971, because I really love doing the opening day versions of the parks because they're so different.
Yeah.
Between then and now. Magic Kingdom hasn't changed. It has
A little
changed.
bit. New Fantasyland.
Even then, Tomorrowland didn't exist back in 1970. Well, not really anyway. You had the Mission to the Moon, and you had, I forgot what was on the right side. If you had Wings, was on the right side, but Space Mountain wasn't there. The Central Plaza, People Mover wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
The building stopped. You turned left, and there was the Indy Speedway, and that was it. And then you made it to Fantasyland after that. But I couldn't find any aerial photos of the park from 1971. It took me forever to find any kind of references. But in my search, I stumbled upon all these schematics, like the actual schematics of the rides.
Okay.
That Disney had filed with the state, and people got them from the state, and so I stumbled upon Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, and that was my favorite ride as a kid.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
Also an opening day ride, and I'm like, okay, well, I might not be able to do the full park, but I can do this little segment that I found. And no one's done artwork with schematics in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
So I reached out to a friend of mine, his name's Tony, and he does artwork with Disney. And I'm like, if I got you the references, could you do the line drawings for me for all the characters from the ride? And so I spent, I don't know how many hours going through old home videos that people had posted online, rewriting the ride over and over again. And so I sent him all the images, and he drew everything up, and then I took the schematic and I did the scaling, and I changed the thickness of the walls. I took out where the emergency exits are, the maintenance bays and all that, because your average person doesn't need to know where that kind of stuff is. So pretty much I tried to stick to what a guest would see going through the building. So with, let's say, Journey into Imagination here, doing
Is it okay if I pick it
go ahead,
up?
please. So when I did Journey into Imagination here, this was the third map I did. So I did Mr. Toad, then I did Haunted Mansion, and Journey was number 3. It shows the full ride track, but if you try to compare it to what's there today, it's very different.
Right.
Over half the ride doesn't exist anymore. But with this one,
Sadly.
yes, exactly. I wanted to include key moments like, seeing the staircase in the entrance vestibule with where the queue line wrapped around it. Even though I didn't reflect the playground that was upstairs, the ImageWorks, I still wanted to reference it. So that's kind of what I wanted to do with all the maps, the key imagery, and then I wanted the colors to match the color schemes of the rides. So with Journey into Imagination, you had white, purple, and orange, was the main color palette, and of course the ride vehicles were blue, so those stood out. So we did our best to color match all those elements and incorporate them somehow. So therefore purple walls, orange title. We do that with every single one of the maps. With Mr. Toad, it was a green title, and then I did the separate color ride vehicles with UV paint. So if you hit it with a black light, they all glow, because that old ride was,
That's so in the pieces that you do, you have that element. That is
sometimes
wonderful.
it depends if there was like black light involved in the ride.
Right.
Like there was some black light in Journey into Imagination, but not a lot. Not enough for me to include a reference to it. But Mr. Toad its primary lighting was UV black light. So that's why I included that for that ride.
Wow. I mean, we like really appreciate kind of like this like beautiful throwback.
Thank you.
Like when we take a look at this, it just triggers all of the happy like childhood memories. I mean, this is definitely a favorite attraction for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Greatly missed, and as well as the great movie ride that we have right back there. So you have all different attractions from Disney and also from the Universal parks too. I saw you had Jaws and Jurassic Park as well.
Jurassic Park we finished earlier this year, back in April, and we made it in time for MegaCon, so March. And this one we did in time for House of Mouse Expo earlier in the year. So this one was back in February of 2023. So we wanted to premiere something new for our larger shows and sometimes our very genre-specific shows. So House of Mouse being a Disney-centric show, we wanted to premiere our new Disney map for it. You just mentioned Jaws. Jaws we did for Spooky Empire back in October. We premiered at that one. And then next year, at either it's going to be MegaCon is earlier in the year, and House of Mouse follows it, and so we're going to do Jungle Cruise.
Jungle Cruise, such a good one.
It's going to be the Magic Kingdom one. We do both, like Haunted Mansion. We started with the Disney World version. We also do the Disneyland one. So if you had them side by side, you can see the differences between
that's
the
very
two.
interesting because we have viewers and fans that they from all over. Like some people, their home park is Disney World. Some people it's Disneyland, and it's really nice to see the. For me, as such a big Disney fan, seeing the Disney World ones because that's my home park, but also seeing some of the original ones as well really brings that history to it.
And that's the nice thing, seeing the difference between them. So like Haunted Mansion Disney World, we've got 3 more show scenes than the Disneyland one does. So as much as I like the makeover for Nightmare Before Christmas, I'd say Disney World has the superior Haunted Mansion. However, I do change my point of view when it comes to Pirates of the Caribbean. Disneyland Pirates of the Caribbean blows ours out of the water.
Clearly, I don't think there's too many people that argue with me with that one.
Some people are really, no, Disney World's my park, and that's my home.
I understand. Yeah, I understand. You might have some memories, but when you go to all the different Disney parks, especially around the world, you're gonna have a clear difference in opinion and all that kind of stuff. But this is great. I love this. So if I wanted to get one for myself to display. We can purchase this here at the expo, but if you're not at the expo, if you miss the expo here, can we get that? Do you have a website that we can go to for these?
Yes, you can go to ionoxmedia.com, ionoxmedia.com. That'll take you to our online store. Right now we're on Etsy, but next year we're transitioning off to a standalone site.
Okay.
Etsy's been fine, but now we've grown so much, it's time for us to move on.
It doesn't surprise me, to be honest with you. These are absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow. That's great. So thank you. Really appreciate you showing us these lovely works of art, and I can't wait to see all the different new maps that you're gonna come out with.
We premiere one of these types of maps, the schematics, about once every 3 months or so is what we aim for.
Okay.
And then the larger park maps that we do, we try to do about 1 a year. This year is 1971 Magic Kingdom. I'm still in the process of making it.
Right.
Finding time to do design work around our backlog of orders and our live appearances is a little challenging, but I still try to find a way to make the time. But yeah, 2023 is supposed to be Magic Kingdom 1971. Next year, I'm not sure which park we're doing. I think it's going to be Epcot 1982.
Oh, that's a good one. Very nice.
I got a lot of requests for MGM Studios 1989 and
well, the anniversary is coming up soon.
I like to meet those anniversary markers too, because it sparks that retro feel for the old park.
Absolutely.
And the parks that don't exist anymore. Like I'm wearing a shirt for a park that doesn't exist. Like Universal Studios is there, but this park isn't there.
Yeah.
Like there's one attraction on this shirt that's still there. Everything else is gone. So.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you showing everything off, and we look forward to everything else that you have coming out very soon. So thank you very much.
It was a pleasure meeting you both, and thank you for this.